guys, I just went back from Brunei last week.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you guys know that Brunei is an interesting country, but they also have some effects?
Wow, really? What is it? Can you tell us?
Of course. So Brunei is officially known as Brunei Darussalam. It's a small country located on the island of Borneo in Southeast Asia. So in the 14th century, it was a powerful Islamic sultanate that controlled large parts of Brunei and the southern Philippines. So let's look at the political system. So Brunei is an absolute monarchy, which means that the Sultan has full control over the government. So the Grand Sultan, which is Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah, is both the head of state and also the head of government. So there is no elected parliament and the political parties have very limited power. Now I will talk about the economic background. So as you guys know, Brunei is a very wealthy country, mainly because of their large reserve of oil and also natural gas. So these resources make up more than 19% of the exports and the governmental income. So the government use this wealth to provide free healthcare, education, and also housing support for its citizens. Now let's move on to the social background. So Brunei has a small population of about 4,500 people, mostly made up of Malays, Chinese, and indigenous groups. So Islam is the official religion in Brunei, and Sharia law is enforced for Muslims. And lastly, let's look at the cultural background. So Brunei's culture is mainly influenced by Malay traditions and also Islamic beliefs. People wear modest clothing, and Islamic festivals like Hari Raya Aidilfitri are widely celebrated. Traditional music, dance, and arts are preserved, and respect for the Sultan and royal family is very important. And lastly, English is widely spoken, especially in education and business, but Malay is the official language.
Hello guys, do you guys know about Brunei that has several domestic issues like political, economic, social, and security? So I will explain about political first. So as earlier mentioned before, Brunei country is governed as an absolute monarchy with Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah serving as both the head of state and the head of government. The Sultan holds full executive authority and has ruled since 1967.
So there are three issues about this domestic political issue. So the first point is no democracy. Brunei is not a democracy. The Sultan has all the power and there are no elections. People cannot vote for their leaders and all government members are chosen by the Sultan. For example, in 2023, the Legislative Council had a meeting, but every member was appointed, not elected by the people. They are political parties, but they have no power. They have no real power. So the second issue is about limited freedom of speech. Brunei also has strict rules about speech. People are not allowed to criticize the Sultan or government. The media is controlled and there are no public protests allowed. For example, when someone tried to speak online about problems in the country, the post was deleted and they were warned. This shows that people in Brunei can't freely share their opinions. So the third issue, which is the last one, Sharia law and human rights. In 2014, Brunei introduced the Sharia penal code, which includes harsh Islamic punishment like whipping or stoning. This law got international criticism, especially for how it affects LGBTQ and people and women. For example, in 2019, many human rights groups called for a boycott of Brunei on hotels because of these laws. That said, the Sultan said some of punishment will not be carried out, but the law is still in place.
Oh, it's recording. Never mind, I'll tell you guys about the economic issue in Brunei. So let's have a see. So basically, Brunei's economy is mainly dependent on oil and gas, which contribute about 90% of export earnings and government revenue. So this allows the government to provide free education, healthcare, and subsidies with no personal income tax. So despite its wealth, Brunei faces several domestic issues that threaten its long-term stability. So first, The country's over-reliance on oil and gas makes it highly exposed to external shocks. For example, the 2014 to 2016 oil price crash led to a decline in GDP growth, government spending, and an overall economic slowdown. So the sharp drop in global oil prices forced the government to cut back on spending and put future plans on hold, highlighting the risk of relying too heavily on one sector. So secondly, youth unemployment remains high, with a rate of 21.3% in 2021. Many young graduates struggle to find suitable jobs in the private sector, as most prefer the stability of government positions. A notable example is the limited opportunities for young people in the burgeoning technology and private sectors, which remain underdeveloped compared to government services. The lack of diversity in the job market makes it difficult for youth to transition into other industries. So, thirdly, the private sector is underdeveloped, with many people preferring government jobs over entrepreneurial ventures. Although initiatives like Jerusalem Enterprise provide support for small businesses, many startups face significant challenges. For instance, numerous local businesses, especially in retail and hospitality, struggle to survive beyond their first year due to lack of customer demand and insufficient market knowledge. Despite government efforts, entrepreneurial culture remains weak, and most people opt for the security of public sector employment. So, to overcome these challenges, the government launched Startup Brunei, which provides financial support and mentoring to new entrepreneurs. That's all from me.
Hi everyone! So today I'm going to share about you guys about social issue in Brunei, especially for those related to Sharia law, women's rights, and freedom of expression. Did you guys know that Brunei is the smallest country in Southeast Asia? It follows strict Islamic principles. In 2014, the government started to fully implement Sharia law. This includes very tough punishment for crimes like stealing, adultery, and same-sex relationship. Some punishment, like stoning and amputation, caused a lot of concern around the world. But the government later said it would not enforce the death penalty, even though the law still exists. Freedom of expression also limited in Brunei. People cannot freely criticize the government or the royal family. The media is controlled, and there are laws that can punish people for what they post online, just like what Ashikin mentioned just now. And for women's rights, the women in Brunei have access to education and job. But other Sharia law, there are still some limits. For example, men have more legal rights in areas like divorce, inheritance, and family matters. In conclusion, Brunei legal system is based on its religious value, but this has led to global debates about freedom and equality. Its country trying to balance tradition with modern human rights. Hi Putri, can you explain about security issue in Brunei?
Okay, I'll explain to you about the security issue in Brunei. Brunei, as you know, Brunei has one of the lowest crime rates in Southeast Asia. Most of the crime reported are non-violent and involved with the repetitive burglary or minor vandalism. Serious violent crime are rare.
This low crime rate is largely credited to the Royal Brunei Police Force, which is well respected and operates effectively throughout the country. However, maintaining public safety still requires constant monitoring and preventive effort, especially in urban areas among young population.
So, in conclusion, Brunei may be a small country, but it has a stable and strong identity shaped by its rich history, stable political system, and Islamic values. So its economy, built on oil and gas, supports a high standard of living. Brunei's culture and society continue to reflect harmony, discipline, and tradition. As the country looks towards the future, it is trying to find a balance between preserving its values and moving forward with development. Thank you.